guys, thanks so much for hitting the play button. I'm Pastor Joshua. My favorite book this year that I read, probably pretty well hands down, was Like a River by Granger Smith. I want to tell you a little bit about my history with Granger Smith. I remember back in 2019 hearing on the news about this country music star whose 3-year-old son had tragically passed away in a drowning accident in a pool at his home.
I got the windows down, no one else around.
This morning, the country music world in shock, grieving the sudden death of singer Granger Smith's 3-year-old son after he drowned at their family home in Texas. Smith delivering what he called the unthinkable news on Thursday, revealing River passed away following a tragic accident, and despite doctors' best efforts, he was unable to be revived.
And I just remember the thoughts that went through my mind, the thoughts of anguish for that parent as a parent myself, the thoughts of even like, man, how does that happen? There's just so many thoughts and really heartache that goes with that. It's funny how sometimes things will happen that don't really have anything to do with us, but they impact us. And this was one of those things. Now, I remember hearing his name then, and then I kind of forgot his name. Fast forward to this year, and I'm scrolling through TikTok, and I see a video that's been taken of somebody that's at a country concert, and the performer, who happens to be Granger Smith, starts talking about how this is his last tour and God's got things for him. It really struck me. Let me show it to you real quick.
And I've had to answer similar questions throughout all of it. Most of the time they just say, well, Granger, I'm just so sad. And I say, well, why are you sad? I say, because it's the last time we're going to see you on stage. I've never said anything like that. I'm still going to have a microphone and I'm still going to be on a stage. I just have something different I need to tell you. So you say, well, what is it? What is it? What could you possibly tell us? Because look at this. I mean, this is crazy. This is awesome. People chant your name. You stand on the stage and they just stand there and look at you and they cheer and they chant, Granger. What more could you want? I want to tell you right now. I want to tell you right now what I want. I can best explain it in this way. The book of Matthew, chapter 13, Jesus is telling a parable. He says, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure in a field. And a man finds it and covers it up. And in his joy, he sells everything he owns and buys that field. I want to tell you tonight, Billy Bobs, I want to tell you, we rolled up this weekend in tour buses that are sold. And gear that is sold. Why? Because I want you to know the same treasure that I have found. Desperately, I want you to know about this treasure. And I want to stand on the stage with a microphone and I want to travel to your town so I can tell you about this treasure.
After watching that video, my curiosity was really piqued about who Granger Smith was and what God was doing in his life. And so later on, I was able to find a sermon that he preached at Liberty University. And as I listened to that sermon, not only was I challenged, but I was just thinking, man, this guy is really spot on. I appreciated his theology. I appreciated just the angle and the humility. And seeing what God was doing in his life, my curiosity really began to grow. And then I realized he had written a book called Like a River, and it wasn't just about losing his son. And that's kind of what I thought it was going to be, was just the journey of losing his son until now. But I don't want to give it away. There are several things that happened in his life from the time of losing his son until really kind of now. More than one tragedy took place, but God continued to work. God continued to draw Granger to himself. What I really appreciated about this was really just the theology that he uses in the book, the things that he teaches, talking about his own experience as what he calls a dog tag Christian, and realizing that just because he went to church and called himself a Christian didn't mean anything. And he had to come to a place of personal repentance. I thought it was kind of humorous in a sense as I was listening to the book, and he was talking about listening to Billy Graham. He started listening to Billy Graham sermons. And in my mind, now, when I say this, I know somebody's going to say, well, what's wrong with Billy Graham? God has used Billy Graham to lead people to himself. I understand that. But there are things with Billy Graham's theology that I would disagree with. And the theology that I'm hearing in the book and that I heard in the sermon was not Billy Graham theology. The theology that I heard in the book was what I would consider solid theology. As I'm listening to this, it just isn't making sense. Later on in the book, he names a couple of other pastors that he is either friends with or started listening to. And then I was like, oh, okay, that's where the theology came from. He has aligned himself with some good people, and I'm just really excited for what God's going to do in his life. But what I appreciated was just the focus of this book, just walking through in a very, maybe we could say raw, a very open way, walking through all of the feelings, all of the struggles, everything that if you are a country music fan, if you did follow Granger Smith, you probably weren't seeing happening as you were following him. And now here we have a man who was a country music star, who had everything that the world could offer, who now has come to Christ, repented of his sins, is growing, and is now walking away from all of that to follow Christ. And it is just an encouraging book. And I want to just say, pick up the book. If you're not a reader, one of the things I have started doing that's helped me is Audible. I love to listen to books. I will read books, but I also listen to books. And I will say that this is a great book to listen to on Audible because it is read by the author. So Granger will cut in here and there, and he will interject some thoughts that aren't in the book, but you can also feel his emotion. I just can't imagine, number one, having to write the book and reliving everything that he had already gone through. Now he's reading the book, and you hear the tears, you hear the heartache, you hear the joy, you hear all of it. And I want to leave you just with one of the probably more striking, difficult, joyful, like, man, there's just was a lot of kind of emotion in my mind and heart as he made this statement. I will tell you this, that God has blessed them with another child. And this child, by the name of Maverick, was born because of the loss of River. They decided they wanted one more child. And he talks about holding Maverick, who of course he is so joyful to have, and was a miracle in and of himself, and looking at a picture of River on the wall. And here's what he talked about. He said, this daily reminder that God takes away good things to give us good things. He would not have this joy that he has if it wouldn't have been for the heartache. And of course, he wouldn't trade River for Maverick, but God chose to take one thing away to give another. And that's kind of what life often is about. When God is taking something away, he often gives us something else. We might not even know what that is. But living with that reality, I thought that was just such a great principle to take away from that book, along with many other things. So let me encourage you, if you're looking for a good book to read coming into the new year, go find Like a River, Granger Smith. You can buy it on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle. You can listen to it on Audible. That would be my recommendation. Listen to it on Audible. Great book, encouraging, challenging. You're going to laugh. You're going to cry. You're going to feel some heartache. You're going to feel some joy. You should grow in your spiritual life as a result of listening to or reading this book. Guys, thanks again for watching this video. I hope that this video, I hope it causes you to just go get the book and read it or listen to it. Let me know what you think of it. If you've already read it, let me know what you think of it in the comments. Also, here's what I want you to do for me. If you've been reading books this year if you even read a couple of books this year, in the comments, let me know what your favorite book is. Maybe it's a book I should read in the coming year. Let me know what it is and why I should read it, and maybe I'll read it and do a book review on it. If you have not subscribed to my channel, if you're new, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. Hit the like button, and I will see you in the next video.